All right, y'all. It's chest and shoulder day, and I took an extra day off this week. I needed to take a break, and we're going to go over why you need to do this, which sounds super obvious to most people, but sometimes some people don't like taking breaks. So let's go over it. When there are intentional breaks that are more than your typical rest days in a week, for myself, I work out 6 days a week and I have one rest day. I train a lot more than I rest. So at some point, my body is going to start asking for rest. And it can do it nicely or it can do it in its own way, and that's called an injury. And we are trying to avoid injuries because injuries are setbacks. And if we can stay away from injury, we can get a lot further in this, whether you're powerlifting, bodybuilding, just trying to be healthier in general and push yourself really hard. There are times where breaks are necessitated. And when it's a break from training, it's termed a deload. Call it a mini vacation. It's time off from the gym. It's time off from hard training. You can either literally just leave the gym and not come back in until you feel better, or if you really like the routine of being in the gym and you don't want to ruin your routine, just come in and do really light workouts, like half the weight you do. Don't go to failure. Get on the treadmill and walk it off. Now, the example would be like if you got tendonitis and you start getting overuse injuries to where you can't even grab weights and hold them because your forearm hurts, like it just aches in the joint throughout your day. You got constant just joint pain in your back, in your knees. You can't sit comfortably for extended periods of time because all of a sudden your knees start to ache. Those are signs that your body's overworked and you need to take a break. That's when you need to take that rest and wait until your body feels good. You can stay active in a non-intense fashion, because if you keep working out on it, that little bit of pain is going to turn into tendonitis, and then it might progress possibly and hopefully not to a real injury. And we like to avoid that. So when your body's starting to tell you, hey buddy, we're feeling beaten up, listen, take a break, back off. Pushing yourself for an extra session will not get you to that Greek god physique any faster. If anything, it's going to get you hurt. And next, if you're starting to notice a decrease in your performance in the gym, normally you're getting stronger every week. You see the weight go up a couple reps, or you see yourself add 5 pounds every other week or so. You're always feeling good. You're training hard and you're training really, really intense. And all of a sudden you've noticed, like, man, I can't push as many reps. I can't lift as much weight. Holy cow, I'm feeling like absolute dog water. You're starting to get too much fatigue and it's affecting your performance. You need a break. You need to back the intensity off. If nothing hurts and you're just getting weaker, you need to back off on the intensity. Do a 50% workout. Do a couple of those. Let your body reacclimate. Let yourself feel better. If you'd rather take a break, take a break. That's fine too. But get back to it before it becomes a habit of not doing anything. That's very possible, and it is a concern with clients when they start taking too much time off, that all of a sudden they start to like taking that time off and they stop coming in, and all of a sudden they stop going to the gym and bad things happen, right? So if you need to keep a routine, do what you got to do, but don't beat your body up more. You need to back off and let it recover. Next, if you're usually super motivated, you're hardcore about the gym, you love working out, you don't miss days, you do your best to get in whenever you can, and you want to get better every day, you have big goals and you're on your way there, then typically out of nowhere sometimes it's going to feel like you're not motivated to train. And it's not typical like, oh, I'm tired because I didn't sleep enough, or man, let me just take this pre-workout and I'll be good to go. Let's say you're sleeping enough, you're eating enough, nothing weird's going on in your life, nothing stressful, you're not getting stressed out at work. You go to drink your pre-workout hoping that'll just get you amped up so you can go lift, and still you're like, man, I just don't want to work out. Like, ugh, I just feel so tired. That's the other sign you need a break. Sometimes the training fatigue comes in the way of a psychological fatigue, and that's just the same, because in all three of these cases, you're not motivated to work hard for whatever the reason, pain, weakness, mental, and now you're going to start pushing yourself less intensely. And now because you're not pushing your body as hard as it's used to, it's not going to get the stimulus it needs to continue to grow and get stronger. You're just kind of wearing it out for no reason. It would be better to take a break, get that energy back, get that mojo back, so you can start pushing yourself back to that level again, and then your body can start to respond to the training again. And sometimes you just got so much fatigue, your body doesn't want to recover. So giving it that time to relax and de-stress itself, your body can start to recover, and all of a sudden you might find yourself making progress even faster than you had before. So it's good to try and experiment with taking a couple extra days off, maybe every 2 to 3 months. If you're training really hard, you may start to notice a pattern in your training. For me, I've noticed when I train absolutely nuts, 6 days a week, I start to get detrained. I get that worn out, broken down feeling around week 6 or 7. So I'll start taking days off until I start to feel better again. If you train a little less frequently than that, maybe you train 4 days a week, you may notice you can train for a while longer before you start to feel like that. You may be able to go like 12 weeks before you need a break. So it really depends, and everyone's just a little different. The more advanced you are, the longer you've been doing this, the more obvious it will be to you. The more of a beginner you are, it's not likely you need the break. It's more likely that you're just still building your routine and you just want to have a lazy day. Maybe you're not very motivated that day. Maybe you didn't eat enough, sleep enough. Maybe you're stressed out in your day-to-day life. Maybe they're overworking you on your day job. Those are all things that can contribute to a lack of performance. So just because you're not feeling like He-Man that day doesn't mean you need a deload. Try and take context of the situation, and you need to really feel like you earned the right to take a deload. You don't just take them to take them, right? You don't just take cheat meals to take cheat meals. That's a quick way to prevent yourself from making progress on a diet. So those are all the signs. Those are the people that need them. The people that are working really hard, right? You're working harder than a normal person. Well, you're gonna need a little extra rest if that's the case. And how long do you do it for? Do it until you feel better. I wouldn't take off more than a week. But there are cases where you may need to take off that much time. A great example is Ronnie Coleman. That guy would go absolutely balls to the wall for 9 months straight as a professional bodybuilder. And he would take 2 or 3 months off after the Olympia to deload. But understand, he's literally number 1 in the world. He's deadlifting 800 pounds for reps. He's bench pressing 500 pounds for reps. He is 275 pounds or more on stage, absolutely shredded to the bone. That's how big this guy is. He gets paid to do this for a living. That's how much he loves to do it. And he was also 35 at his first Olympia win. That guy didn't start taking these big breaks until he won his first Olympia. So he was very advanced before he started to even implement the concept of a deload. And his version was a long vacation. And it's more likely that his came in the way of his need for psychological break, right? He's always working so damn hard that mentally he's finally worn out. So that's a good reason. So that way he can get back, get motivated, build his routine again, and then he's got 9 months to grind his way into the next competition phase. So just try and be aware of how hard you're working, what you're working for, what your goals are, how much you're working before you start just throwing in extra rest days for no reason. And yeah, I hope you guys learned something from that.